In 2021, I decided to actually turn my life into something better than what it was. And since then, I've dedicated my entire life to improving myself constantly. The past 4 to 5 years, I've been exercising consistently, I've been reading, I've been journaling, and I've also been finding God, but I've made 1,000 mistakes along with it. But with those 1,000 mistakes, I've learned infinitely more than that. So here are just 5 lessons and things that I really wish I would have known when I first started out on my journey. So hopefully somebody can get some value out of this. The first lesson that I've learned is probably the most important with starting anything, and it's really just to know exactly what you want and know exactly how you're going to get there, but also love the process more than you love the destination. A lot of us set these really vague goals because we feel like not having a limit on our goals, not having a cap on what we could possibly be, is gonna make us become better. Like for example, we might just set a goal of being financially free, or a goal of just looking as good as possible. And since there's no limit on what that could possibly be, we feel like we're going to consistently improve and go based upon that. When in reality, if you don't know exactly what you want out of your life, if you don't know exactly the goal that you're aspiring for, that lack of limit is only going to drag you down mentally and physically. You have got to know exactly what you want, or it's never going to be enough for you. And I can definitely vouch for this because I still feel like I'm in this position right now where it feels like I didn't set my goals strict enough, and now it feels like the things that I do accomplish are never going to be enough for me. Like for example, if your goal was to be financially free, what does financial freedom look like to you? How could you possibly track the progress of a limitless goal if there are no benchmarks or checkpoints? When you never have a set goal as to what you want to accomplish, accomplishing anything feels like you haven't accomplished anything at all. Like for example, I've set thousands of goals the past 4 to 5 years, and a bunch of the goals that I have set, it feels like it wasn't enough because I just continued to raise the bar because I never set an actual benchmark of what I wanted to be or where I wanted to be at a certain set time. And it goes hand in hand with just loving the journey and the process more than you love the destination. Because I promise you, you're gonna get from A to B eventually. But once you get to B, there's always going to be a C. There's always going to be a D, and there's always going to be an E right after that. So if you don't love the journey and you don't love the process of actually accomplishing those goals and you only love the destination, you're never going to feel that sense of fulfillment. The second thing that I learned is that your worth and your value is not defined by your identity. You do not have value because of the person that you might become or the person that you might want to be. You have worth and you have value because of the fact that you are a human being, and it's as simple as that. If you're anything like me, you attach yourself to all of these identities, and it's so much pressure to live up to those expectations that you set for yourself. Like the past 4 to 5 years, I wanted to be a YouTuber, I wanted to be a football player, I wanted to be a good student, I wanted to be all of these things. And when I attached myself to any one of those identities, the second that something inevitably failed or something inevitably had a setback, I felt like I was worthless, or I felt like I wasn't doing enough. These identities that we gravitate towards are not our entire lives. These are not things that we need to base our self-value and our self-worth on. These are just attachments to our lives. These identities are not our purpose. It's something that we are using our purpose and we are using our gifts and talents to help other people with. You do not have worth or value because of the fact that you are a good student. You are a good student because you have worth and you have value, and there are things that you can add to people's lives intellectually. When you attach your value to these identities, you're telling yourself that I'm not going to be good enough until I'm good enough at this identity. I'm never going to be good enough until I become this doctor. I'm never going to be good enough until I build the body that I want to build. You are essentially just telling yourself that your value is conditional and dependent on all of these things, when in reality, you have value because you are a person, you're a human being who feels, who has emotions, who loves, and you don't need anything else to validate that at all. The third thing that I've learned is undoubtedly the most important thing that I'm going to be talking about, even if some people may not agree. It's really just putting God first and making sure that God is the focus of your entire life. And I understand that not everybody believes in God, so if that's you, I would highly recommend that you listen, but if not, just skip to the next section. But everything that I've gotten in my life, all of my successes, all of my failures, all the mistakes, all of the lessons that I've learned have come from God. And I would be an idiot not to put that person in the center of my life. When you put God in the focus of your life, it's less about that selfish desire of getting everything that you want in your life. It's not about that. It's more so about having somebody that understands you, that can help you, that can guide you by your side while you're on your journey. And for as long as I can remember, I've put so much pressure on myself, whether that be because of the identities that I've attached myself to, or maybe because of the people that I feel like I've got to help. It's just a bunch of pressure that I've put on myself. And I've only found myself relieving that pressure when I find myself focusing and relying on God. As a human being, I feel like some of the emotions that we feel, a lot of the pressure, the anxiety that we're put under, we're not meant to be dealing with all of this stuff. Not only does putting God first save you eternally, but it just makes your life a whole lot easier. It makes you feel a whole lot better with the things and the challenges and the mistakes and the failures that you're going to eventually go through, because it's showing that you have a process that you can trust. You have a God that's going to be putting you in a position to be turning yourself into a better person, or turning yourself into a person that's ready to receive all of the success that you could have ever wanted. All of that pressure and anxiety can go away dang near overnight if you realize that you're not fit to be handling that amount of anxiety or that amount of pressure, but there is somebody out there, such as God, that is fit to handle it and can handle it and will gladly handle that for you. And of course, I would highly recommend that everybody watching this gets right with God, because I could say anything on this channel, I can give all of my pieces of advice, but that is always going to be the most important thing. Put God first, regardless. And you can listen to me, you can listen to your family, you can listen to this rich guy that you know, but putting God first is going to get you infinitely farther than listening to anybody on this planet. The fourth thing that I've learned is something that I honestly wish I knew years ago, and that's really just that you don't have to go ghost to grow. You don't have to leave people behind to grow. And of course, I think that this is really situational. There's always a time and a place for everything. There's a time to go ghost and there's a time to be social. But I feel like a lot of us might try to ghost the people that we love, or we might try to separate ourselves from the people that actually care about us because we're kind of insecure about that person or those people in our lives seeing the journey that we're going on. And I know how desirable it is because I've done it before, where you leave for an extended period of time, people don't see you for a while, and you come back just a better version of yourself. But the thing that I had to learn is that people were improving themselves in the presence of other people. And the reason that I wanted to go ghost so bad is because I was so insecure about people seeing my journey. I was really insecure about people seeing the process of what it looked like to get better. And I slowly started to notice all of the people in my life just moving on. The world kept spinning, because if you're ghosting the people that you love, those people can only reach out to you but so many times. And eventually you're going to notice all of those people that you're growing for, all of those people that you're trying to ghost for, move on without you. Now, like I said, there is a season for everything. I feel like some of the times that I went ghost, I just genuinely had to do it because I wasn't locked in enough. I had to separate myself, isolate myself so I could be the best version of myself. I'm more so speaking on when every single season of your life where you feel like you want to get better, like every single summer break or every single winter break or every single time that you're away from people, you feel like you have to cut off communication from everybody because you just want to continue to seem like you're getting better. Especially when all you're doing to level up is going to the gym and trying to make more money. You have so much time in your day to interact with people, to be social, to live a life that a normal person is going to live. And I feel like you're doing yourself a disservice when you withhold that social interaction just because you feel like you have to be on this Batman arc. If you're going ghost and you're still on your phone a lot, you're still watching TV, you're still doing things that people would deem as unproductive, then you're just wasting your time. You're not ghosting people for the sake of locking in and for the sake of bettering your life. You're just intentionally ignoring people that care about you because you feel like you're insecure about that progress that you're going to be making. But like I said, everything is very situational. You know better than me about the situation that you're in your life. That's just something that I wish that I would have personally known when I first started out. And I know I keep saying that all of these lessons are the most important, but I feel like number 5 is definitely the one that I'm the most passionate about. And that's really just this idea that you will never be perfect. You can strive and work and do as much as humanly possible, and you will still never reach that desired state of perfection. And I know for me, when I was on my journey of improvement, when I didn't reach that mark of perfection, I had this mental anguish that I wasn't doing enough with my life. Or I had this feeling that I was somehow behind all my peers because I go on Instagram, I go on TV, and I see all these people living my dream life. The people that you think are living that perfect life that you want to live have their own demons that they're battling. And I understand it's much easier to cry in a Ferrari than a Honda or something like that. But the point is that none of these people that you think are successful are perfect. Everybody has their own demons. Everybody's battling their own things behind the scenes. The first step to growth is acceptance. And when you can finally accept the fact that you are never going to be that perfect person, those failures and the mistakes that you make all of those things are going to be so much easier to handle, and you can actually learn from that. You can humble yourself, and you can recognize that those things are simply just stepping stones to becoming the person that you want to become. When you can finally accept that you are always going to make mistakes, you are always going to be prone to failure, you are always going to be a human, that's when you can use those failures and those setbacks to actually progress you in your life. That's how you actually start to learn from your mistakes. I only started to grow when I recognized that everything that I'm going through is for a reason. Everything that's happening to me is intentional, and I'm not going to be perfect, but I don't have to be perfect. I can continue to fail and still learn from those mistakes, and I can still become that person that I want to become. And I really hope that somebody got some value out of this, because these are things that I'm really passionate about and just a few things that I've learned. So if you want a part 2 of other things that I've learned, let me know, because I have a bunch of insights that I'm dying to share with you guys. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. Peace out.